over a violent home invasion robbery outside Scottsville. WAHU FOX 27's Carlos Vergara visited the area to find out what happened.
It happened at this home in the 3200 block of Rolling Road, a small business run out of the residence. We knock on the door, but no answer. The 52-year-old wheelchair-bound man who lives in the house taken away by ambulance, according to one neighbor.
It's a violent crime.
Police looking into the incident, which happened around 7:30 Sunday. 3 gloved, masked men, at least one armed with a gun, make their way up the driveway and force their way into the house.
You're threatening somebody's life when you bring a weapon into play, and you're robbing somebody of money.
We knock at the doors of neighbors in the wooded area, many too afraid to talk.
Scary.
Except the next door neighbor.
We've seen a lot of the police cars when we was going to church yesterday.
Don Wheeler says he's alarmed. In the nearly 25 years he's lived next to the victim, they've spoken once, but that doesn't mean this incident isn't too close for the comfort of his family, and has this message for the bad guys.
Well, I guess if you like to live, stay away, you know. It's either them or me. Yeah.
Carlos Vergara, WAHU FOX 27 News at 10.
Now, the victims whose name was...
While the pilot died, there was a man in the basement of the home, and he was not harmed. This house at 128 Jefferson Highway in Louisa still smoking after a 1981 Cessna airplane came crashing from the sky.
A plane which took off from Freeman Field here in the town of Louisa crashed less than a quarter mile after filling up with approximately 148 gallons of fuel.
The plane's tank was nearly full, creating even more fire and smoke.
A couple hundred gallons of the fuel that was there, I mean, most of that was burning pretty well when we got here.
Neighbors say a man and woman live in the house, which is a total loss. The man was at home when the plane crashed in his yard.
The resident of the house was inside the basement at the time of the crash. He was not injured, and the resident was able to escape any harm after the crash.
We spoke to a man who was working nearby. He was here within 5 minutes of hearing the plane crash. When he arrived, all he could see was a thick cloud of black smoke. Then he said he saw the tail of the plane sticking out of the ground.
Ran over there, and by the time I got over there, fire trucks and rescue vehicles were already there.
Barlow is just as shocked by the incident as the other people who stood and watched.
It's crazy. I can't believe something like that happened in this little town.
A chaotic scene happening too close for comfort. Fire officials told me they were working on making...
John Rogers takes us to several places in our backyard known for marriage proposals, including one town with the perfect name.
A widow and widower, Becky and Dave Howard, also spent time teaching in Nelson County schools. They eventually started dating and knew it was going to last. One day they headed out for what she thought was a birthday outing. One of their first stops, a place that's seen its share of engagements and weddings over the years, Crabtree Falls.
It was in May, May 1st. The dogwoods were in full bloom, and it was the spring flowers were out.
It looks tranquil. This scenic waterfall actually has the biggest drop of any waterfall this side of the Mississippi River, even bigger than Niagara Falls. The perfect backdrop for a lot of couples. Only part of the story for this one, no ring here. After leaving the falls, the Howards, in love, made it to Love. Love, Virginia. Love is a small community near the Blue Ridge Parkway in Nelson County.
It was just the right idea, the right place, and the right time.
The Howards had been to Love once before for a picnic. Becky, then Becky Bain Norris, thought something was up.
So he walked up on the gazebo, and I was saying, oh, I think I know why we're here now.
Her suspicions were right. Dave popped the question.
It was like this, and he had a pretty well planned out script.
The answer? Yes. The Howards chose a quiet approach to their engagement. Others want to tell the whole world. Where better than at a concert? It doesn't happen often, but one member of the military chose to propose at a Rascal Flatts concert at John Paul Jones Arena. Several people have shared the moment with the world on YouTube. Back in Love, Virginia, Dave Howard is glad his mother said, "You're not dating anyone until you go out with Becky."
It's my mother's fault, and it's been a happy fault. It's really not been a fault. It's been a real pleasure.
They tied the knot November 24th, 2006. Whether it's by a quiet waterfall, in front of a few thousand of your noisiest friends, or in a perfectly named town, there are plenty of places and ways you can pop the question around the place we call home. Hopefully you can write your own perfect story when you arrive in love and want to make it last forever. In Love, John Rogers, 19 News Nightcast.
I Love Virginia wasn't always called love. It was.
Now see how a community comes together through the eyes of photojournalist Louis Tingler.
I love the drummers.
They're coming around mile 9 and they're beating on the drums. It's good. We're just here to support the runners.
Most of them smile and feel like they can keep running.
Keep that pace nice and steady coming up on mile 3.
Go, Bridget, go!
Go, Daddy!
A couple of student bands along the way. They were all good. They were all loud and noisy.
It's always interesting to see who comes out.
My name's Big Bearded Billy. This beard was passed down from my forefathers. You know, the only thing you'll see is a white trail of hair.
Go, Banana Man! All right! Just lots of spirit along the way.
I felt good the whole way. The weather was great. The crowds were awesome. The music was terrific.
I've run it about 7 or 8 times before. It's a great race.
As usual, this is one of the best races in town. I come out here to run it because I love the scenery and the crowds and the band, and it's just fantastic.
Photojournalist Louis Tingler with that report. 26-year-old Seth Hutchinson came in first with a winning time.